The lineups for Michigan. Tim Hardaway Jr. gets 16 a game, but he has a tender ankle. Nick Stauskas, a freshman, shooting the lights out, but Trey Burke could wind up being the Big Ten Player of the Year for Northwestern. Reggie Hearn was questionable with his own ankle injury. He does not start. That's a key for them. 14 points a game. Sobolewski is a smart point guard in that Princeton-style offense, but it's an offense that can really struggle to score. That is not a problem for Michigan. Now, Bill Carmody in his third, he told the press before the season he expected the Wildcats to get to that elusive NCAA tournament bid this season or next season. Right now at 9-4, and John Beilein, at least after 13 games, easily Beilein's most powerful offensive team. He's averaging 80 points a game so far. No question they can score on anybody.
And their efficiency rate is off the charts.
And that comes down to their brilliant point guard as Northwestern wins the opening tip. Packed house here just outside of Chicago, and great to have you along with us. Here's Marco Tullio giving it up, and he's in there because Reggie Hearn can't start. We'll see how much Hearn can play. That's a huge loss for them right away. Alex Ola, 7-footer from Romania, loses it immediately.
A good dump down pass, opening possession. You don't want to walk away with an empty possession, and that's exactly what Northwestern got on that one.
Hearn right there wearing the jersey, and we'll see when he comes in, if he does. You watched him shoot in the pregame, and he did not look very comfortable. Glenn Robinson whirling in, takes the foul. He'll go to the line as he is hit in the opening seconds.
Both teams a point of emphasis to come out early and try to establish themselves down low. The difference being Michigan draws the foul and gets to the free throw line. An empty possession and a throw out of bounds for Northwestern.
See how good that start has been. Second best in school history for Michigan.
You know, so much discussion on Stauskas and what he's able to do from the outside, but Glenn Robinson has been very good underneath, and in fact the last 2 games shooting better than 70% from the floor. He is just continuing to find his rhythm and find his flow for the Wolverines.
Michigan's biggest win so far over number 18 NC State. They won that game 79-72. Marco Tullio up top for the big man Ola, who has extensive international experience, and quickly picked up by Burke. Fast pass off of Hardaway, but it's actually going to be deflected off of Northwestern as they try to pick up the transition hoop. 1-0 Michigan.
2 possessions now of uncharacteristic offense really for Northwestern. When you look at sloppy plays, no shot attempts yet, they've got to settle themselves down and realize an opportunity is right there in front of them against the number 2 ranked team in the country on your home floor.
Here's Stauskas, who pretty much after midcourt is a threat to score, but he can do that too. On the follow, they get the bucket. Number 52, Jordan Morgan. Maybe keep that number in mind, because the best game he ever had in his college career was against Northwestern, 27 points.
Well, his role is so well defined. Come out top, set a screen, then roll to the hoop and make yourself available. Get second chance points like he did there.
Swapshire handing it off. Up top here for Abrahamson, a 6'7" freshman. They dump it down low for Ola again. Nothing there for him, but they're going to continue to try. In the lane, rolling left. That won't drop. That's a shot he can hit. He does have a little hook shot action in the middle of that paint. Look at Burke go right by everybody. Boy, he smoked that defense.
Stop the man with the ball, and especially when that man is going to be a first-team All-American this season. You cannot allow him to turn the corner and not have a secondary defensive player slide over and make that rotation.
Last year, voted by the media, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. May top that with Player of the Year. The way it's going is Jared Swapshire, who's already graduated. Remember, he played at Louisville, but gets that extra year of eligibility, had a remaining year, so he gets to finish up at Northwestern.
He was the one guy coach said needed to get going a little bit more offensively.
A nice move by Abrahamson to get that shot off in close, but it's tipped up and out of play by Northwestern.
Yeah, Trey Burke has so many different levels of his game. You receive the high screen and turn the corner, no help side rotation, nobody steps to allow him to get a clear path uncontested to the rim. That's automatic.
I know you haven't seen every point guard, although I listen to you a lot. It sounds like you have, but is anybody playing better in the country than he is?
It's tough to say because of his ability to limit turnovers, specifically in the last 6 games, only 6 turnovers and 46 assists, and he can do that. He can score with such great efficiency. Obviously, MCW, Michael Carter-Williams, up at Syracuse, has been playing lights out at the point guard position.
Well, three-pointer by Burke, 8-0. Marco Tullio cannot answer, and this is a deadly start for Northwestern on their home floor with their best player on the bench. Burke jumping in. Oh, he hit it. No whistle, but he hit it anyway. How about that, kid? And how about a 10-0 start?
It is easy, or at least it seems easy, with what Michigan can do to you. And you say defense travels, but Trey Burke, he also travels offensively. Look at the way he's able to stop on a dime, change direction, absorb the contact, and finish. His upper body strength and allowing himself to shoulder in and still stand out, stay on balance, and be able to finish is elite.
But how about the little something extra, the shake and bake around the back, takes the hit. There are plenty of leagues where that's a foul.
Yeah.
And he's at the line for a three-point play. Not here tonight, but off to a tremendous start. Now, he's a guy who is a John Wooden finalist, or what it would take for him to be a finalist. Increasing scoring and assists, well, he's certainly done that.
Well, and this is what I see. He returned to college after being the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. You increase your scoring assists, you decrease your turnovers, you understand the offense better, and you lead Michigan to its best start since the 85-86 season. And I equate Trey Burke to that of a quarterback in a football game. You know, they talk about the speed of the game, and when that speed slows down, all of a sudden they start getting a little bit more fluid in their flow. Trey Burke is that guy right now. The game is at a snail's pace for him, and he is just dicing it up.
Well, he has Michigan on a blitz here. Out in front, 10-0 at Northwestern in their Big Ten opener. Sobolewski off target. He was harassed by Stauskas. Out it rolls. And a timeout, 16:21 to go. A tough start here for Bill Carmody. His team trying to pick up their 10th win of the season. They did lose Drew Crawford, their top player, to a shoulder injury. Sobolewski trying to get by Burke, and he does for 2. That's a strong drive.
That's a good, strong, aggressive move. Again, turning the corner as a guard. And sometimes when you have a player like Trey Burke, if you catch him standing a little bit upright, and that's what he was on that possession, and now change up your defense, allow you to get set in your half-court stuff.
Northwestern had missed their first 4 and turned it over twice. Burke lines up a long one and drains it. Another 3. He is scorching it.
We'd like to welcome you to the Trey Burke program tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. 4 for 4, 10 points, just minutes in, and he is dominating. Ola out to Sobolewski. Very reliable point guard, the 6'1 sophomore. Marco Tullio with a quick dish. Ola leans in, draws the foul, and go to the line to shoot 2. 15:25 to go here in the first half. Well, you mentioned it, the recognition. Trey Burke, such a great young talent, just a sophomore. Back at Northwestern, Trey Burke, the man in the middle. He's in the middle of it all as Michigan has raced out to the big lead, Sean.
Well, and he does it in such a variety of ways. I mentioned his leadership ability and ability to recognize what the defense gives you. This is one of the things I noted about Trey Burke coming into this game. Let's go back to the West Virginia contest. Watch the on-ball screen. The defensive player, Rutledge, comes out. And as we stop it right here, his vision, he turns his head away from Trey Burke. He immediately sees that and understands, hey, I can attack, and I'm going to be able to finish. Absorb the contact, finish just as he already has done here. And that recognition from Trey Burke has now moved him into that elite level as far as all players in college basketball.
I mean, it's good. And then there's what he's done over the last 8 games, where you have to believe no one's playing better than that at his position. 62 assists in the last 8 games and 8 total turnovers in that span. Now, they're not playing top 25 teams every one of those games, but everyone they're playing is trying to beat them.
Right, and everybody that's trying to beat them, his name is the first name on every scouting report. So it's not like, okay, hey, he's emerging and stepping into this role. He is the guy that every team goes, all right, somehow we've got to try to limit what Trey Burke can do. and how much of an impact he is going to have. What kind of footprint are we going to allow him to leave on this game? And he's still coming out on a nightly basis and leading this team in all facets.
Ola makes the pair after being fouled by Hardaway. And Mike Turner, 6'8" freshman from Chicago, will come on now. He's been getting a lot of minutes. A lot of freshmen are playing for Bill Carmody. Some of them being forced into action lately because of injuries.
Well, that creates opportunity, and your role might change as you go throughout the course of the season. And how prepared are you to make an impact?
Burke, another one. What a great look at all net. He's hit another three. Already 13 points, Sean.
He had 19 points per game against them a year ago. He's going to pass that here in the first half. Just his composure, his feet are set, his elevation, his release.
Well, hard not to rave about what he is doing right now. He has Michigan on top 16-4. He picks up the loose ball here. He's a one-man fast break, laying it high. No. Up and in for two by Glenn Robinson III. I say bench him now. I mean, you miss one. You're supposed to be perfect.
That was one of the easiest ones he's had so far, too. But that's the hustle and wherewithal, too, of this Michigan Wolverine team. Robinson didn't anticipate that Trey Burke was going to make that shot.
Swampshire with an air ball. Nobody touched it, 18-4. And for Michigan, 8 possessions. They've scored on all 8. There's Drew Crawford with that arm in a sling, out with the torn labrum.
They're really missing him, second leading scorer on the team. And without him, this is a team that will struggle to score. And Coach Carmody told us that today at shoot around. He said, you know, when I look at my team right now, at times I get concerned, where will we find the points to be successful? And we've seen that struggle in the first 6 minutes of this game so far.
Now, you've been on coaching staffs, and that's what coaches do.
Yeah.
You know, you sit down with your lineup, with your roster, and you go, where are the points coming from? We get 8 from this guy. We get 12 from this guy. On a great night, maybe we get 7 from this kid.
You try to piece it together and just try to build the confidence back in this group. And Reggie Hearn is a big part of that, and we have yet to see him.
Robinson. Oh, great dish underneath. McGarry could not finish it, but he draws the foul. Mitch McGarry, another freshman at 6'10", getting big minutes. The SEC and Big Ten headline Super Tuesday. At 7, Trevor Elliford and the Crimson Tide take on Phil Pressey and the Tigers. Then at 9, Deshaun Thomas leads the Buckeyes against Tyrone Johnson and the Boilermakers.
How about Flip Pressey? You talk about elite guards in college basketball, the performance he put on in the renovated Poly Pavilion. 19 assists in that contest for Missouri. And I think the Tigers are going to be fun to watch in the SEC. When you look at Florida, and I think Kentucky starting to take some steps forward. Even in that loss at Louisville, I saw growth in the Wildcats.
Now McGarry smooth at the line, bumps the lead to 20-4. And where do the Wildcats go from here? Up top, the point guard Sobolewski. Abrahamson, they like the way he can shoot the ball, a lanky rookie.
And you talk about where they can find points, it has to be Abrahamson from the outside. And he has the ability to stretch the defense, but he doesn't have the confidence yet to go ahead and initiate that offense and pull that trigger to the point that he needs to.
Foul on Karis LeVert, a freshman for Michigan out of Ohio. Marco Tullio off the inbounds. Good shot, not there. And Robinson III hauls in the rebound. Burke again on the move. That pass tipped and stolen away by Sobolewski.
Rare turnover.
Has not been kicking it over at all lately. And that one on target by Abrahamson. That's what they need.
That's exactly what they need. Get the easy looks. Get yourself in a rhythm. On the catch, be ready to shoot. Abrahamson can stroke it from the outside, only 35% on the year, but they feel like he could be a plus 40% three-point shooter.
And he's drawn some comparisons to John Sherna. Turnover, Marco Tullio. Yes, he finished on the other end. So some life for the Wildcats here.
And it started with 2 turnovers, back-to-back possessions where Trey Burke has turned the ball over.
So 12:40 to go in the opening half. Big Ten opener for both schools. Burke gives it up to LeVert. Stauskas, great fake. Down the lane he goes and scoops in two.
And see, that's the dimension of his game that he's going to need to continue to develop, because teams understand and identify what an outstanding perimeter shooter he is. They're going to run him off that line. Don't be afraid to put him down.
Abrahamson not there for him. We talk about, they compare him a little bit to John Sherman, who also had an unusual shooting style, but boy, did it work. He led the Big Ten in scoring. You talk about shooting, though. There's the kid. Stauskas hitting 56.5% of his threes, and a timeout Northwestern.
And the playmaking ability of Burke and Stauskas, just understanding where do I need to be out on the floor to make a difference. And because he shoots the ball so well from the outside, teams are going to run at him. Two guys close out. He attacks. He's a better athlete than people want to give him credit for. And then the beautiful behind the back, dish to the outside, square up, knock it down. He rarely misses. Even in shoot around when he's having fun at practice today, you and I are watching him consistently making shots over and over and over again. When he misses two in a row, it's shocking.
It really is. He rounded up to 57%. So he's hitting 57% from three-point territory. Glenn Robinson III is another freshman. He's making 57% of his shots overall for Michigan. Whatever happened to the days when freshmen were supposed to kind of work their way in, they were intimidated. These guys are anything but intimidated.
I think a lot of it has to do with the AAU basketball, the amount of games in which these guys play, the international ball in which they play. It all further helps develop them and makes them ready to make the transition into the college game.
Well, they are into it and with both feet and helping the Wolverines to a 25-9 start here. Inside, Ola back into. So the big fella, we talked about his international experience on Romania's junior national team. That has to help him in the Big Ten.
Well, he can provide a presence for them underneath, and in the last two games averaging a little bit over 12 points per contest.
Hardaway Jr. on the baseline, but he's on the line, and he has turned it over. 11:32 to go here in the first half at Northwestern. Michigan up 25-11 over the Wildcats. We have been watching Trey Burke during this timeout, shaking his head like he's angry at himself because he turned it over a couple times.
Yeah, he expects to play at such a high level that when he doesn't, he gets frustrated. But he shouldn't be shaking his head, because he has got the Wolverines off to a sensational start. We've seen all facets of step back. Watch the little push here. That's that upper body strength, bounce the defender off you, able to finish through contact. Trey Burke has the complete package, and it's not just the scoring, but it's the ability to set up your teammates. And his career highs, you see 30 points, 12 made field goals. He's already at 5 in this game to go along with 13 points. If he continues at this pace, he's going to threaten both those numbers.
Indeed he will. Burke had 13 points in the first 5 minutes to jump all over the Wildcats here. Michigan ahead 25-11. Now the Northwestern football fans are just delighted with the season that they had. In fact, they're going to get a chance to celebrate that tonight. Pat Fitzgerald, the head football coach, got the Gatorade bath the other day and hasn't stopped smiling since after the Gator Bowl win. He'll be celebrated at halftime, and they'll bring out the trophy. That's great for the football program here. He's really gotten it going.
Yeah, moving in the right direction, trending, as they like to say in the Twitter world. The Northwestern football program's moving in the right spot.
You know your Twitter. McGarry will stuff it after the theft for Michigan to make it 27-11.
Now, this young man is a powerful big that's still finding his way at the Division I level. Tremendous prospect out of high school.
2012 Parade Magazine All-America. The bucket connecting, and once again Abrahamson, who's showing excellent range. He's another youngster undaunted from three-point territory. LeVert inside the three, can't bury that one.
Northwestern starting to find itself in a better rhythm offensively, and this Princeton type offense that they run, they can really slice you up and force Michigan to switch, and on those switches they have to take advantage.
Hardaway Jr. all net, a sweet shot and a three-pointer for Tim. His dad is here tonight. His granddad is also here tonight to watch him play his first.
Well, it's good to see him back out on the floor after missing their last game with that ankle injury, and such a main cog, a leader out on the floor along with Trey Burke. Coach Beilein was very clear in talking about the leadership of this team is pretty much everybody, but those two in particular have spearheaded this season.
Sobolewski, shot clock inside 10. Here's Marco Tullio. Boy, he's taking a lot of shots since coming into the game. He thought he was fouled on the three. Here's Hardaway again. Likes that spot. Back-to-back threes, and the family loves it. And another timeout shot.
It is all smiles right now for the Hardaway family. His grandfather on the left side of your screen, Tim, of course, a 5-time NBA All-Star on the right-hand side. And this is where Michigan can hurt you. Their perimeter shooting is as good as anybody in the country. Open floor, early shot clock, get it and go. I talked about it right off the top in the one-on-one. Create tempo, create rhythm and flow to your offense. And Hardaway in back-to-back possessions, folks, runs to the exact same spot. Defense slow in recognizing him, and he knocks it down.
Michigan is on a pace to score about 130. The best team in the nation headlines ESPNU's coverage of college hoops on Saturday at noon. An ACC battle. Seth Curry and the Blue Devils hosting the Demon Deacons. And in a 2, Sheldon McClellan and the Longhorns take on Pierre Jackson and the Bears. All coming up on ESPN and ESPNU, the home court of college hoops. Hardaway Jr. starting to roll now. A couple of quick threes. He has half a dozen.
In 2 games prior to his injury, he averaged 21 points per contest. A big part of that, too, was not just settling for that 3-point shot. So now that he's hit a couple of early ones, if he can look to attack to get to the free throw line.
Oh, Ola had it right on the rim on the backdoor cut. All he had to do was finger roll it in. Here's Burke to launch another one. He's finally missed one from long range. 33-13.
Those easy misses underneath. Those are the type of misses that forces your head coach to sit back, put both hands on top of the head, and just close your eyes.
Ola on the back down, swings to the right. That's a good shot for him.
That is a great shot for him. But then when you see him make that shot, you wonder, why didn't you make the one on the previous possession? Every possession is going to matter in this game for Northwestern. You have built yourself a deficit, and this is not a team that offensively is structured to rally from large deficits.
Batted away, and that'll be out of play at 9:02 to go here in the half. It'll stay on this end, and Burke will look to check it in. McGarry getting a lot of minutes here. Big Ten Freshman of the Week 1 time. Most of those awards have gone to Stauskas. McGarry trying to bull his way, and now Burke outside. Stauskas thought about the 3. He will take one. That won't spin in for him. He has such great confidence in his ability to hit that shot, however. When he was asked over the last couple of days, are you the best shooter in the country? He said, well, I mean, look at the numbers. I usually hit about 60%. I'm actually a little off at 57%.
Yeah, he is a very confident young man. It was a pleasure to get to talk to him today. And one local newspaper that wrote the article about him, they labeled him as swag. Jay Billis has great swag for us. But I'm thinking that Nick is playing with such a confidence that you can go ahead and use that title, swag, for him.
I would agree. Put him in the same category with Billis, and that one won't fall by Kent's. Up and in for 2, and a quick return for Northwestern.
Good activity around the rim for Northwestern. The last couple of possessions, identify where they're attacking Michigan. They're attacking them down low inside. They'll settle for the outside shot. They're more active on the glass right now.
Stauskas kicks it out. Burke with a pull-up jumper. He's missed a couple of shots here after an absolutely amazing start. And up and in for 2. Bielfeldt, Max Bielfeldt, the freshman. They call him Moose. Big, strong kid at 6'7". Ola again wants to get low. Now Sobolewski will set it up. Under 8 to play in the first half. And all Wolverines in their Big Ten opener.
So important to set the tone and the demeanor to how you're going to compete in conference.
Ola again, and he's getting a lot of touches shown.
And that was created off the dribble penetration into the middle of the paint. It forced the back line of the defense to step up. His hands were ready, able to finish that time.
So 35-19. Hardaway gives it up for Stauskas. Nice shovel pass. And the foul will put Michigan at the line. Bielfeldt will be shooting when we come back after the timeout. 35-19, the Wolverines rolling. Thank you very much, Pat Fitzgerald, holding up the Gator Bowl championship trophy from the 2013 TagSlayer.com Gator Bowl, and a rousing ovation. In fact, they wouldn't let Pat speak. They were all on their feet. He said, "Hey, I only got about 8 seconds. I got to get this in."
And then very quickly said, let's try to keep this environment this loud for the remainder of this basketball game. And right now you look at the stats, Northwestern just 1 for 6 from behind the arc, and their 4 losses this season for Wildcats. They've shot only 28% from behind the arc, and on the season they're shooting 39%. So those numbers often dictate how this team goes.
Bielfeldt making the first one here. What do you think now? The success of the football program, has it put pressure, added pressure on the basketball program to also achieve similar success, and for Bill Carmody to finally go to the NCAA tournament?
I think it has, and I think that Coach Carmody will tell you, and you mentioned it right off the top. He said that it was going to either be this year or next year this team's going to get to the NCAA tournament. They have been awfully close the last couple of seasons and have not got over that one hurdle, that one obstacle. The football program just got over a big one by winning a bowl game. Now it's up to the basketball program and this team in particular to embrace the challenges that lay ahead of them, especially in this conference.
Trey Demps with a traveling violation. Carmody has come very, very close since 09. He's won 20 games on 2 occasions, 19 last year, but no bid to the big tournament. He has gone to the NIT 4 years in a row, but that's pretty hollow right now. Underneath, the nice catch by Morgan. He'll lay it up and in. Jordan Morgan loves to play against Northwestern. He said, something about them I don't like. I like to play against them. They're kind of like an itch you can't scratch, and he's had some of his best games against them.
Well, Coach Beeline, I'm going to start identifying things that he shouldn't like about every opponent in the Big Ten.
Demps on the attack. A teardrop, nicely done for 2.
This is one of those freshmen, a redshirt freshman, that has the opportunity right now in front of them with Hearn being out to start asserting himself at the offensive end of the floor. That's his first 2 of the game.
Stauskas back up top for Burke, who got off to a tremendous start here. They cooled a little bit. Morgan in close again, though. Follows his own miss, battling. Flipped it up, and that won't fall. Now, Michigan won both games they played last year on target by Trey Demps, and I know you like him a lot inside and outside.
Yeah, he is shooting 66% from behind the arc over the last couple of games for Northwestern, and with Hearn being out, with Crawford being out, you need points.
Stauskas doesn't need much of an opening, but can't connect. Morgan again fighting underneath, but he's traveling back, so he gives it up on the turnover. And Friday, our NBA coverage is headlined by heavyweight matchups in the East and West. At 8 o'clock, it's the Bulls taking on LeBron and the Heat. And then at 10:30, Kobe and the Lakers against Chris Paul and the Clippers. NBA Friday, presented by State Farm.
Well, the Clippers had been amazing, but now lost 2 in a row. Head back into that game on Friday against the Lakers. Chris Paul, the depth of that team.
Jordan Morgan just got teed up here by the crew. Let's take a look. It clearly is for chirping.
Well, chirping and then slamming the ball against
slamming
the
ball.
Yeah. And that's just a loss of composure and awareness.
They really do get under his skin. He wasn't kidding. Abrahamson at the line, where he hit 67%. John Beilein not happy at all by the officiating crew's decision to tee up one of his guys for bouncing the ball like that.
I think you look at this game, it was a start, as hot of a start as it was for the Wolverines. And this is what the call was, and you take the ball and you throw it to the floor like that, and it's an easy one for the official. I mean, could they have looked away? Maybe. But also as a player, you understand what you can and cannot get away with out on the court.
Well, Northwestern trying to make some noise here. They're on a little 6-0 run.
Well, and if they get this below 10 going to the break, I think that's okay. I think with the way this game started, that would be very acceptable for the Wildcats.
Ola, nice spin move, and that won't drop for him, but he got the shot he wanted. No question about that. Hardaway Jr. lost a sneaker, or somebody did. Sneaker loose on the floor. It's actually Marco Tullio, and a jump shot knocked down by Hardaway Jr. from long range.
Yeah, and I don't think the officials even know yet, and they just recognize that the shoe is off. Well, that's one thing you can tell Coach. Coach, I ran so hard back in defensive transition, my shoe fell off.
Ran right out of it. 42-25. Hardaway, incidentally, has attempted 3 3-point shots, and he's hit them all.
This team just can flat out shoot the basketball. They are at an elite level at the offensive end of the floor, and their ability to stretch you out.
Overall, they shoot over 50%, over 40% from 3-point land. They hit 73% of their foul shots. They sure can. Sobolewski with a miss. And here comes Trey Burke, the point guard out of Columbus, Ohio, where he was teammates in high school with former Ohio State star Jared Sullinger, now at the Celtics. Hardaway again from the other side, a triple.
And his dad smiles and nods his head as his son is out there just stroking the basketball from the outside. And it is 4 3-pointers in the first half for Tim Hardaway. So it's been a spurt. It's been a half of spurts offensively for Michigan. It was Trey Burke's show early, and now we're turning it into the Tim Hardaway Jr. show. And it's just a great job identifying, recognizing. You cannot close out, though, with your hands down. If there's anybody out on the perimeter for Michigan, you have got to close out with your hands up. If your hands are both to your side, you're telling them, I don't respect your 3-point shot enough, and you should be respecting his 3-point shot. You look at the numbers and what he's been able to do, not only today, but also on the season.
4 for 4 beyond the 3-point line. For Michigan, their upcoming schedule, they have Iowa on Sunday, then Nebraska. Then it gets considerably tougher against Ohio State and Minnesota on the road. A Minnesota game and the following game against Purdue on ESPN.
That's why this game is so important. When you got 2 games at home, you say, we're going to hold home serve. And if you can get to 3-0 before going to Columbus, Ohio, or going to Minnesota, you put yourself in a good position.
A 20-point lead for the #2 team in the country in their second true road test of the season. Michigan came out all cylinders firing because that man Burke was cooking. And a beautiful play as Robinson gets the basket on the alley-oop, and that's something they practice a lot.
They did it today at shoot-around. They practiced the attacking of the middle of the paint and the backline man sneaking on in from behind, and that's exactly why they were able to execute it there. That's carryover from practice.
And not necessarily a favorite play of John Beilein, but he knows his team likes to run it. He knows they're good at it. Here's a bump and a foul, and at the line will be Trey Depps, the freshman.
Sometimes movement without the ball can put you in the best situation to be successful. Draw the defensive player to you, lob it up to the rim, and some great athletes for the Wolverines.
That's a great halftime. Carl Ravitch and Jimmy Dykes. Michigan with a 47-25 lead. Tim Hardaway just can't miss early on. It was Trey Burke who couldn't miss. 24 points on 3-pointers for Michigan against Bill Carmody's team. And Bill has 25 total.
I'll be interested to see what Jimmy has to say at the half, though, because he had just saw Michigan State and Minnesota, and Minnesota is a team that I really like. Tubby Smith, veteran-laden group. They are awfully tough on the glass. They are superb in playing the passing lanes and creating steal opportunities.
Swapshire dumps it down low. Ola, very nice feed with a bucket. Alex Ola, the go-to man in the first half.
He has been good at extending out his arms, catching the ball, and he's missed a couple that he should have back, but still the best offensive threat without question for Northwestern.
Stauskas. Oh, nice drive, slicing in for the bucket.
If you add that component to his ability to shoot the ball from the outside, he is going to be very difficult for anyone to match up with.
So already 49 points for Michigan. Dempsey can't connect. Burke comes out of the pack with it, as you see the Wolverines really looking to push it every time. Stauskas really nicking the iron there. Sobolewski finds the open shooter. Dempsey can't bury it. Had a great look, but he missed it. What a great move to bank into.
Tim Hardaway has a pretty good crossover.
Yes.
He's sitting in the stands, and I'm sure he's smiling with that one. Trey Burke's ability to sit down the defensive player, crossover, keep it tight right in front of him. It's a clinic.
What a highlight package coming out of his Big Ten opener tonight. He slaps that away, and he's fouled by Sobolewski to prevent what would have been another highlight, undoubtedly.
Well, Trey Burke in the open floor. Watch him just sit down the defensive player. A little hesitation in the blow-by. Crosses over, left to right. Quick, tight, low, compact.
My ankles hurt after watching that move. Just sitting here. And his grandfather Donald there on the left, and his dad Tim. Speaking of crossover moves, as you mentioned, he had a pretty good one.
Yeah. I grew up in the Bay Area, so Run TMC was the show.
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullen.
McGarry in the lane, dumps it down low. No basket, waved that off. Could be a 3-second violation. So no hoop. That brings a big grin from John Beeline. I don't think his team could run the play any better, but the officials thought he got some help.
That's great recognition, though. I think coach is going to watch that on videotape and tell him, nice job. That is exactly what we're looking for in that possession.
So no basket by Robinson. Abrahamson on target. Boy, he gets rid of it fast, doesn't he?
He does, and this is a young man as a freshman that they need to continue to build confidence in. And it's pretty clear with Reggie Hearn not going at all here in the first half that although he warmed up, went through shoot-around today, one can draw the conclusion that we're not going to see him. So this is going to be a game where Abrahamson is going to have the opportunity to redefine what his role is here at Northwestern.
Certainly has an unusual shot, and they're used to seeing that here at Northwestern. Burke with a fall away, and it's in and out. It was in the cylinder. Suddenly he's gotten a little chilly here outside Chicago. 51-30, and there's that interesting looking shot, kind of pushes it up there.
Yeah, a little flat in his release, and because his release is low, I think that's why he hesitates sometimes with his look, because he needs space to get that shot off. If you close out hard and you're right in him, and he releases that ball low, he's feeding it to you.
Well, Michigan on pace for over 100 points. 18 seconds before halftime. McGarry on the high post, and he'll take it into the lane. Down he goes. He can't scoop it in. Time for a shot here by the Wildcats. Sobolewski will give it up. Here's Marco Tullio around and out. The tip won't fall. And the first half comes to an end. That will not go. But a lot of shots did for Michigan, as they lead it at halftime 51-30. They hit 58% of their shots, and they made 8 out of 12 beyond the three-point line. Let's toss it back to the studio. Ravi and Jimmy Dykes on the way with our halftime report, guys. Michigan putting on a show in the first half. Even some Northwestern fans are all smiles. I'll tell you what, for a 21-point game, I don't think I'm the only one who has been very entertained, and it's because of the way the Wolverines can flat play, and they have so many weapons, Sean.
They've put on an offensive clinic in the first half, shooting 58% from the floor. They're shooting better than 67% from the three-point line. And the big question for me in the second half with Michigan is, do they have the mental toughness to continue to play at this high of a clip for another 20 minutes? And we see what they were able to do as they opened up this game on a 20-4 run. But all these numbers tell you what you already know. Michigan's up by 21. At the end of the game, will they be up by 30? Will they be up by 40? And the great teams have the ability to put their opponent away and not let off that product.
And doing it with style.
Yeah.
I mean, with some tremendous flash and dash. Trey Burke with 15 points. Tim Hardaway has 12, all of those on threes. And they pile up 51 first half points. Michigan opens up the second half with the basketball. Stauskas Can't connect from three. Morgan with a tough rebound, flips it up and in.
That's knowing your teammate. And Morgan immediately went from the strong side to the weak side to get that offensive rebound, put himself in position should Stauskas miss.
He's been a rock for John Beeline. 83 consecutive games he's played in. He's never missed one. So 53-30 Michigan. A long jumper on the way from Swapshire. He's able to knock it down. The graduate who came over from Louisville.
Let's see if he received a message, and I'm sure Northwestern, their message at the half was, we've got to compete better. We've got to not turn over the ball and give them opportunities to run out.
Ola, the 7-footer, picks it up. Marco Tullio steps into one, and he hits a three. So a quick start for the Wildcats coming out of the locker room. They've got a big crowd here tonight, and they were all in a frenzy over Pat Fitzgerald and the football team after winning the Gator Bowl and celebrating that. Oh, nicely done. Morgan with the stuff. Beautiful quick dish in for a quick strike.
Know your role and do it well. And Morgan does his role very well for Michigan. Sets that high on ball screen. His hands are always active and ready. And should he be able to slip and get those open areas, he's able to finish.
Sobolewski, the point guard, directing traffic here. Opening seconds of the second half. Michigan came out smoking. Sobolewski handing off for Marco Tullio. Abrahamson, quick release, but not there this time. He had some good shots in the first half. It may look a little awkward coming off the hand, but he gets it done. Here's Burke. Yes, all net for a triple.
He started off extremely hot. Then he changed roles, became a little bit more of a facilitator. Took some time, sat on the bench. To get him going again here in the second half, key for Michigan. And to continue to ignite their offense at the level in which we saw in the first half.
On the drive, taken away. Picked up by Robinson. And on the step inside, oh, he made it, and he'll go to the line. Another one for tonight's highlight reel for Michigan. Glenn Robinson, the third. Talk about an athletic play to make that basket after the foul.
So you see him recognize the defense, leave his feet. A little bit of luck involved in that one, but he got it high off the backboard. Soft touch, high off the backboard, allowed it to drop in. A lot of times when you get that contact, guys go through it and they want to go up and extend out hard, and they want to extend out fast. And what ends up happening is it skips across the glass.
So Michigan at it again. 8 points in 65 seconds. Now on top, 61-36. Sobolewski committed the foul. Swapshire trying to get in close. Working on Robinson and taken away. Burke with the dribble across midcourt. Loose ball in the paint, taken away by Northwestern. And for the Wildcats, Big Ten play beginning with a rough slate. 5 of their first 7 in conference play are ranked in the top 12 in the AP.
Well, they need Reggie Hearn back. Experience. Such a great story, really, for Northwestern when you think about walking onto this program and just continuing to improve every year.
Hardaway Jr. fouled on his way to the basket. Let's go back to Morgan, who's been very active in the first half.
It's the little things, fulfilling your role. Here he is on the screen. You're going to watch him slide down and then work his way over into this spot. And when he gets there, he's able to get the offensive rebound. See, stumbles back a little bit, but puts himself into position to get to the weak side of the glass and get the offensive rebound and put back. And that's what it's about for Michigan. And that's what it's about for Jordan Morgan. The little things. What can you do that's going to make your team better? What can you do to make yourself better? And when you're number 2 in the country, playing like a number 1 ranked team, those are the little things that help you accomplish your dreams and your goals and aspirations. That for this team is a Big Ten championship and a trip to the Final Four. 7
rebounds for him. So going back to the first half and now to the second, he has been crashing the glass. And Michigan leads it 63-36. Well, you were looking for how focused would they be. Marco Tullio on top, won't find a range there, and another rebound for Morgan. With the big lead, there's the bump. Burke able to connect on those shots, but not this one. Sobolewski fires and got him a 3-point.
So 3 3-point shots here in the second half for Northwestern. Michigan has got to have awareness that in transition, anytime there's an open look from the outside, this is a team that's going to be firing them up here in the second half.
Stauskas looking for Hardaway to get free, and he does. Marco Tullio sticking to him. Hardaway trying to create. Tough shot, can't make it, but he'll go to the line. He'll be at the stripe for two when we come back. Michigan in complete control tonight. Well, the question is Michigan the class of the Big Ten, or is it Indiana? Right now, Michigan ranked number 2 in the country, and it's going to be a great year inside the conference. No question about that. With the strength of the Big Ten, as good as it's been in a long, long time. To give you a look at the teams inside the AP top 25, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio State, Minnesota, all in the top 10. Illinois just outside that. They're coming off a loss on the road against Purdue, and Michigan State at number 18.
Well, and Illinois, to me, is one of those teams to keep an eye on. And how much of an impact will that loss be at Purdue on them? They did not shoot the ball well in the second half, and a larger concern for me was the fact that they got outscored by 18 in the paint. The Illini have got to shore up their interior of their defense, because when you're taking on teams like Minnesota, like a Michigan State, they're going to look to attack and wear you out underneath. This Michigan team, they can wear you out in pretty much any way they want to wear you out, whether it's off a dribble penetration off top or their ability to stretch and make shots from the outside.
One of the scary things about John Beilein's team is you look at Trey Burke, he's only a sophomore. Stauskas is a freshman. Glenn Robinson III is a freshman. McGarry is a freshman, so is LeVert. The guys who are playing a lot, playing a huge role on this team. They are, in terms of experienced minutes, one of the younger teams in the country.
Their experience, though, especially with a guy like Burke from a year ago, have really paid off, though, this year. The dividends of all the minutes that he played and allowing him to maybe go through some of those mistakes, it's only making him that much better of a point guard this season. And Hardaway's another one of those guys. The maturity that we're starting to see out of him, and his ability to read what the defense is giving you, take it, and that's what this team has been really successful at.
Here comes Burke after they forced the turnover. Stauskas on the wing.
He's been uncharacteristically off.
Yeah, a little bit. For a guy who hits 57% from 3, number 1 in the country. And certainly with that shooter's reputation of being one of the best shooters in America. Abrahamson giving it up here. Nice cut underneath. Sobolewski, though, with a lot of glue around him and could not convert. Oh, picked off. McGarry with quick hands, but he can't control it as he goes sprawling out of play. A great effort by the freshman. Not a bad slide.
No, he gets out in the passing lane, dribble gets a little bit ahead of him, and he's out.
So under 15 to go as he checks for the floor burn. Big kid from Indiana. Michigan on top 64-39. Turner handing it off for Marco Tullio. Sobolewski, the point guard, can't get inside. The shot clock's down to 8 now for the Cats. Sobolewski handing it off. Marco Tullio to Turner for a 3. That was with the shot clock down to 2 and a rejection by McGarry.
The problem for Northwestern is in these late shot clock situations, they just don't have anybody that can really facilitate and create their own shot. Even when you think you have a good look, it's been erased by Michigan.
It's going to be a foul against McGarry, trying to keep up with the point guard. This is a team that hardly ever commits a foul coming into this week. Michigan was committing the fewest fouls per game in the country at 11.6. Then again, when you're never behind, why foul?
Well, and what that does is it doesn't shoot yourself in the foot. You're allowed to play your guys as long as you want to play them. You can put them in the situation. It just speaks to the efficiency of what we've seen from the Wolverines. And to me, Dave, what stands out is the quality of shot in which Michigan has attempted tonight. Even in their misses, they've been good shot attempts. They don't settle for bad shots at any point in time during the course of the game.
Don't turn it over. Just 5 total fouls in this game. Here's Swapshire on target at 3-pointer. So a smooth stroke for Jared Swapshire. They need a lot more of that. They have been shooting threes well. Overall, not a good shooting team at 43%, but 39 beyond the arc.
Well, Swapshire, again, one of those guys that needs to understand his role has changed here at Northwestern than what it was at Louisville. He had 22 points against Texas Southern.
Oh, Burke went down hard. And quickly up, he'll go to the line with 13.5 to go. We were talking about some of this a moment ago, where they rank among NCAA schools now, the top 5 in all of those categories, Sean.
And that equals a top 5 team and potentially a #1 team in the nation. And Duke is right there right now, obviously, but Michigan right behind them in their offensive efficiency. And those numbers indicate unselfishness. And one of the things Coach Beilein was talking to us about earlier today was the feeling he gets, the sense around this team. They play with and they play for each other. And championship caliber teams do that. There's not this sense of, I've got to get mine and I'm going to try to get as many points as I can. Everybody's getting theirs because they're playing and reacting well with one another.
Well, it seems so much of that feeds off of what Trey Burke does. Obviously one of the great passers in the country at 7 assists per game, and he has 19 points tonight. 65-42.
Remember, his career high is 30. We still have 13 minutes left to go.
Shot clock down to 9. Sobolewski with a tough bounce pass. A line driver misses badly by Abrahamson, but they get it back. Swapshire with a bounce down and up and in for 2.
And I like the way Northwestern is competing here in the second half. I mean, they are coming out much more aggressive at the offensive end of the floor than what we saw in the first half from them. And this is a team, again, shorthanded without the top 2 leading scorers, taking on the #2 ranked team in the country on their home floor.
Swapshire commits the foul on Robinson. And again, that man has been out virtually all season. Drew Crawford out with a torn labrum. And their top scorer, Reggie Hearn, has not played a minute tonight. Right beside him there to his right.
And Hearn went out in the second half, early in the second half in their contest against Stanford, a game that they eventually lost by 2. And he was having a very strong game. If he doesn't go down, they win that game.
12.5 left here, 65-44, and turned over by Michigan. Swapshire trying to penetrate in the lane, slices, won't go, and a foul with 12:18 left. And these two teams played twice last year. Michigan won both games, and they both went overtime. So Northwestern was right there on both occasions. Turner will go to the line. One of 4 Northwestern freshmen getting regular minutes. He's a Chicago native, and he knocks down the first one.
He had 10 rebounds against Illinois State. And this is a young man, 6'8". He's got some versatility to his game. And again, when you get recruited into a program and they go, okay, we need you to come on in here. Okay, what do we got in front of me? Well, you know, we got Hearn, we got Crawford, we got some guys that we're going to lean on heavily. We just need you, if possible, to give us about 10 minutes a game. And then all of a sudden that 10 minutes a game turns to, we need 25 minutes a game. And oh, by the way, we need 15 points if you can. Can you get me 10? And those are the questions right now around Northwestern basketball.
Well, LeVert burying a long-distance shot. The three-pointers continue to come. That's 10 now in the game for Michigan. And it is turned over again. Here comes LeVert. Plays it off, up and in. That's part of that unselfishness you're talking about. Robinson with the basket.
Well, and LeVert, just an outstanding story. In his first 6 weeks, they fully anticipated using a red shirt on him, and Coach Beeline said they were going to drop the red shirt unless he was in their top 8. You don't drop a red shirt to make him your 10th man on your roster, and he has played his way in to the top 8 rotation here for Michigan.
Hardaway with a fall away, long distance shot, that won't go. We have a timeout, and before the game, inside the locker room for Michigan, here's Jeff Meyer, the assistant coach.
And lastly, commit to each other. Commit to each other. Play for each other, commit to each other, and fight for each other. So we can see the fight totally get done here.
Ravi, thank you very much. You look at what's happened in the second half. Michigan assistant coach Jeff Meyer with a passionate speech before the game. He was right on the money about the unselfishness that Michigan continues to show. A foul here with 10:49 left.
That's McGarry's 3rd personal foul, and the unselfishness of Michigan, but also how about the unselfishness of Northwestern? 15 assists on 18 made field goals for the Wildcats. Problem is they're just not making as many shots.
Not making as many shots, but John Beeline talked to us during his shoot-around today about almost the awe that he holds their offense, and that's going to count. It'll be goaltending on McGarry. He said the way they run their offense, the Princeton style, he said is almost an art form. When they're doing it well, they do it better than anybody in the country. A real tip of the cap to Bill Carmody.
No question. He said it just so beautiful the way they're able to execute and work. And I think the reason why we see an offense right now that doesn't look beautiful is because of the different roles that these players have been put in. And when you're lacking guys that have experience within this offense, then you're asking freshmen to work against a very top-level program like Michigan right now and try to execute and find that rhythm. It's just not going to come.
Very smooth night for Tim Hardaway Jr., who's playing on a tender ankle, but he has 17. Swapshire's been hot in the second half, gives it up for Turner to bury the short jump shot.
Get in an area where you can build confidence as a player. And one of the ways you build confidence, if you're not used to shooting and you're being asked to now, what's the one thing you can do? Get in the gym and start shooting shots.
Stauskas tumbling in and knocked out of his hands. He thought he had a foul there. Well, the best team in the nation headlines ESPN News coverage on Saturday at noon, an ACC battle. Seth Curry and the Blue Devils hosting the Demon Deacons. Then at 2, Sheldon McClellan and the Longhorns take on the Bears. That's coming up this weekend on Saturday. Burke with a fall away. Rebound tipped up and in by Morgan, who's really been around that cylinder.
Just active, and as soon as he sets that perimeter screen, you know exactly where he's rolling, right to the center of the paint.
He has a double-double, 10 and 10 for Jordan Morgan, 10 points all in this half. Swapshire with a miss. He hasn't missed many since halftime. Burke up ahead, and the stuff in by Hardaway. How beautifully they look for each other on that transition.
As soon as Trey Burke got his hands on the ball, great point guards always get their heads up immediately and identify with the peripheral vision. A, where the defense is, B, where your teammate is. Trey Burke did both, and Hardaway got the finish.
Cavs can't connect, no whistle there. Burke again, he's just a terror with a basketball in his hands. And there's Morgan to stuff it down. Goodness gracious, 78-52. Man, do they have weapons. So Michigan from the get-go has had everything cooking tonight. Transition baskets, three-point shooting. Burke was a one-man show in the opening minutes. He ran out 13 points in the first 5 minutes of the game for himself. Another beautiful move for 2.
Jimmy Dykes talked about it at halftime, Dave, and he said his ability to stop, change directions, and just go. And he is so superb at his ability to do that. And Jimmy was dead on when talking about what Trey Burke does and how he's able to create space and gaps. It's not all about speed. Change of pace, change of direction.
Hardaway, blows right by his man, but can't connect it close. Abrahamson down the other end, fouled by Burke as he reached in to commit the personal. Tim Hardaway Jr. making his dad very, very happy tonight. Indeed, he's been cooking too.
Michigan up by 28, and Trey Burke, he's done a little bit of everything today, but it's knowing your options out on the floor as we go inside the play. And here's where we're going to see the options that Trey Burke has. This is right after the lob to Hardaway, and as we freeze right here, he sees Hardaway, but he also sees the defense. So he knows his better option is the backfill by Morgan. Morgan sprints the lane, Hardaway clears out the defense, and the flush. It's like running the option as a quarterback. You come down the line, you see where the defense is, how they're going to step to, and then hit the pitch man. And Trey Burke hit the pitch man there, and it was an easy finish.
Well, he has 21 points as well, along with the great looks. But Michigan has done shooting the ball, three-point land. And they have been terrors on the glass as well. Abrahamson at the line for Northwestern. Freshman from West Des Moines, Iowa. He has 10 points and 3 rebounds. Babyface freshman. He makes 1 of 2. Rebound is tipped to Olad. He's fouled on the play. Alex Olad, who has been a lot quieter in the second half than he was in the first half.
And a lot of that has to do with the shot selection for Northwestern. They've attempted 12 three-point looks already here in the second half. They've connected on 5 of them, though.
Really scuffles at the line, just 42%. So not a place he wants to be. Michigan with the rebound, and we'll see how much Burke sits here the rest of the way the last 7.5 minutes. Right now he's remaining on the court, and you wonder if John Beilein will eventually call them off and go to the substitutes. Hardaway is going to commit an offensive foul. Tim Hardaway Jr. with the personal on the push-off. ESPN College Basketball is available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, tablet, or smartphone at watchespn.com and with the Watch ESPN app.
It allows us to get caught up. Sometimes we're out calling games. We've got games coming up with other teams, and get to see everything that's going on in the landscape of college basketball.
Yep, tremendous tool, especially in airports, yes, where we have been known to spend some time. Ola lost it on the dribble, trying to take the baseline. It's off him and back over to Michigan. He is scoreless in the second half.
Yeah, you get those weather delays, and you get stuck somewhere. It's a must-have.
You Cali guys don't worry that much about weather delays, do you?
I do now that I'm in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's right. You will be every Thursday. Quick step to Islam, dumps it down low, and a foul by Ola.
Maybe over unselfishness there on that one.
Thought he should have shot it?
Yeah, I thought he could have gone up and easily scored that one, but you love the awareness to find your teammate and to dump it off, and Moose is going to go to the free throw line.
Moose is Max Bielfeldt, freshman from Peoria, Illinois. He's averaging about 6 minutes a game. He might get a little more than that tonight with a huge lead for Michigan.
Well, you're going to see the great sit-down crossover, get into the middle right there. Just go ahead and shoot that up over the top. Instead, he dumps it off. But good unselfishness, making that extra pass. You're never going to fault your point guard for trying to get others involved.
This is the most points that Northwestern has allowed this season. They're only giving up about 60. And Michigan already with 80.
And their defense has been holding teams to under 40% shooting from the floor. And clearly, we've shown you the statistics already. Near 60% shooting tonight from Michigan.
Sobolewski with the bucket, give him 7. Robinson. His dad, of course, was a great star at Purdue. He was an All-American there and played 11 years in the NBA. Hardaway. He's fouled the strength to get it up and in the air, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And he is picked right up from where he was prior to his injury. I mentioned in the first half, 21 points in the previous 2 games. That was his average over that period of time. He hits both of these, he's going to be at 21 tonight. He's sitting on 19. And the amount of weapons that Coach Beilein has, I mean, that's the one thing. I think if you're a Big Ten opponent and you're watching this game, what are you taking away from watching this Michigan team? Their weapons are plentiful. You can go deep in their bench. You can find guys, and they know how to set them up to be in their rhythm and their flow to make them successful. And a lot of that obviously falls on the shoulders of their point guard and Trey Burke. But this is a deep, talented team.
Hardaway Jr. heading to the bench. See if he's done for the night. 82-55. You know, there are a lot of head coaches that would not allow a team like this to play as freely as they do, as creatively as they do. But John Beilein is one of those coaches, very secure in himself. Obviously a marvelous coach. He's had great success everywhere he's gone. But he has allowed them to play a style that they really enjoy playing, they're very comfortable with, and gets everybody involved.
Well, and in doing so, what do you have? Success.
Stauskas with a beautiful shot, has 10. Only his second three-pointer in the ball game, but bumps the lead to 85-55. His first points in the second half. Both teams beginning to go to their benches here inside the last 5 minutes. Thrown away by Alex Ola. We talked about the contributions of guys like Stauskas, who is from Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, no, and the Canadian influence in college basketball continues to grow. And you look at Gonzaga and what they have with Kelly Olynyk, who I think could be the West Coast Conference Player of the Year this year. Kevin Pangos, he had 9 made three-pointers in a 31-point effort just a couple of days ago, and he's just outstanding with his ability to shoot from the outside. That was against Baylor that game, and of course they won at Oklahoma State. Mike Kabongo, who we haven't seen yet, but we will see later on this year in February, Texas. Anthony Bennett, the best freshman in all of college basketball at UNLV.
Burke with a shot clock winding down, unable to get a good look. Demps from the wing, he buries a three. 85-58.
This is a team that's competing still in Northwestern. I mean, they have not had any drop-off. The problem is they've just been so far behind throughout this contest.
Well, the way Michigan came out, playing so crisp and so clean and just with a full head of steam, and really blew out the Wildcats on a 20-4 run before anyone could sit down in the arena. Burke down the lane, and he has 23.
Don't you just get a sense that he can score anytime he wants, how he wants, at any single moment? As he goes ahead and sits down, he's got 23, and it's been sensational.
A commanding 87-58 lead for Michigan. They have owned a big lead virtually from the get-go tonight. Whistle here with 3:21 remaining in the contest here at Northwestern. Michigan, the number 2 team in the country, and they've gone heavy to their bench here down the stretch. 87-58. Back in 1 moment. Well, probably the rest of the night off for that man, Trey Burke. He's certainly all smiles. He should be. 23 points. He did that only 16 field goal attempts. And Tim Hardaway Jr. with 21 points on just 8 field goal attempts. It'll be Northwestern at the line with 3:21 to go. Sean Farnham will be calling games on Thursday night in the Big Ten this season, along with Dave O'Brien, number 2 Michigan. Certainly playing like number 2 or number 1 in the country.
And I saw number 1 Duke just last week at Cameron against Santa Clara. Now, Santa Clara is a pretty good team out of the West Coast Conference, but the Duke Blue Devils, they've got some weapons themselves from the outside. But it seems like everybody they put into Michigan tonight is getting in the action. Levert able to stretch the defense, but Seth Curry, when he gets going, Ryan Kelly's ability as a 4 to stretch and create space for Mason Plumlee, and I think the whole key for Duke's success this season falls on the shoulders of Quinn Cook. He has got to be the point guard that distributes the basketball and can organize and structure offense.
Michigan up to 90. Northwestern just happy to have hit the 60s in the last 2.5 minutes of play. We've been watching Trey Burke tonight. You and I have been raving about him, and I think it brings up the question, who is the best point guard in the country right now at the college level? And he's going to be right there in any discussion, maybe the very top of that discussion.
Well, I think what separates him a little bit from Michael Carter-Williams is his ability to score the basketball. You just get a sense that Trey Burke can score whenever he wants and how he wants.
Clemens from the corner, not there. One of the few misses in the second half for the Wolverines.
Now, he doesn't have the assists that Michael Carter-Williams does. But they don't want him necessarily to have those same kind of assist numbers. They'll take it, and he's done it from time to time, get that over that 10 assist mark. But he can score the basketball and hurt you in so many different ways. And we've seen every aspect of Trey Burke's game from the get-go tonight. The ability to turn the corner, to use his upper body strength to bounce off and absorb contact. He can shoot the perimeter shot. He can cross you over and leave you just standing there looking silly. Trey Burke, not only the potential leading candidate really for Big Ten Conference Player of the Year, but you can put him right there in the mix for the Wooden Award. Look at what Mason Plumlee's been able to do. McDermott's obviously having another good year for Creighton. There's a lot of guys there. It's not a foregone conclusion, but Trey Burke is continuing to impress.
It certainly did tonight. Michigan, incidentally, has gone cold for them, if you want to put it that way. They've dropped under 60% shooting for the game. Stolen away, down on the other end, the slam. Northwestern with a little late life. Montgomery with the basket. And it looks like they'll be able to prevent Michigan, at the very least, from scoring 100 points. The way they started tonight, it looked like they were going to score 125, 130. Albrecht with a bounce pass on the baseline. Kleiman swings it up top. And backed it. While even those shots are going, Russ able to knock that one down off the window.
What I love is the unselfishness with a group of guys out on the floor that rarely get time, and this is their opportunity. Go ahead, get some points on the board, put yourself in the box score, and they're swinging the ball around, getting good ball reversal to find an open shot out on the perimeter.
They've made 13 out of 22 for three-point territory. It's usually a very effective weapon for Northwestern, but Michigan is a team actually out shooting Northwestern from three-point land this year, making 41% beyond the arc. Just over 50 seconds remaining. But certainly the highlight for the Wildcats tonight was their football team being here to get the big celebration from the football fans, from the Northwestern faithful, after winning the Gator Bowl, their first bowl victory since 1949.
And now it's about carrying that momentum on to spring ball, and then of course into next season. You look at their losses that they had in the Big Ten this year in football. They had leads in the second half of those games, and a couple of those games they really should have probably even won. So now you take your success there and try to bridge that over. And I think for the basketball team right now, it's biding time and hoping that you're going to get healthier. And Hearn is the one guy that has to come back, and he can relieve some of the pressure that these young guys are feeling to have to step up because of his ability to work his way into that leadership role. The former walk-on played his way into a starter's role, and his numbers have continued to improve with each passing year, specifically from his junior year, which was very solid, into this season before he got injured.
94-65. Hearn has been unable to play a minute tonight. Came in averaging 14.5 points a game. Tops on the Northwestern team. And they desperately needed him in the initial minutes of this game. Coming up next, audibles here on ESPN.
Some coaching changes in the NFL. Wild card weekend ahead.
Just a few.
It's good to see Welsh-Ryan getting a vacation.
That's right. Where is he, in the Bahamas?
Evidently.
Yeah. So Abrahamson at the line.
Look, if you had the quarterback play that the Jets had this year, wouldn't you want a vacation after the season was over?
I think I might. 15 seconds remaining in this one. And Michigan about to go to 14-0. This is the second best start in school history. In 85-86, that Wolverine team started 16-0. And this version here in 2012 and 13 is on the way to pressing that matter. Michigan wins in a walkaway in their Big Ten opener tonight. Trey Burke and company blowing out Northwestern on the road. They're now 14-0. They win it tonight, 94-66.
And the quality of their execution on the road is the most impressive aspect of it. We see teams struggle in conference play. You can't put yourself in a hole. You got to get out in front, and that's exactly what the Wolverines were able to do.
Sean, a pleasure. Enjoy the Big Ten. You're going to love it this season. I know you will. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, as Michigan wins it going away 94-66. Good night from Northwestern.